On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Today's going to be a drama-filled day. That's pretty sure what the dealio is. The plan is to get this bill voted on today, Wednesday. We'll see how that plays out. A lot of questions around it. There's an issue. We'll talk about some of the little specifics here. Obviously, there's people grandstanding about how, like Massey, he's like, I've got a bunch of people lined up that aren't going to vote on it. Trump's been talking to people on the phone. I have a funny feeling the discussions that Trump is having with these individuals is, and I don't think it's threatening. I think it's like, look, here's the thing. We'll make some deals up. We'll help you out. I'll actually promote you when you're re-electing or running for re-election. I'll come out and campaign with you. There's a lot of things Trump can offer. And there's a big disadvantage to going against Trump. Very curious how these backroom talks are going. Doubt we'll ever hear or know. But the end vote's ultimately going to tell us what we need to know. And Thomas Massey will never serve another day in office once we get to the next election. He will be removed. Amongst others, likely Rand Paul. I don't know if there's what other House members are coming up. Chip Roy is making some noise, but I think ultimately a good guy. And I think ultimately people need to get behind this bill. I get there's little black and white nuances that we can get pissed off about. Ultimately, we got to take it all. Take the good. You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. Right? Did you ever watch that stupid show? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Good song. Sort of. Kind of. It was the 80s, you know? That and Charles in Charge. Oh, one of my favorite songs ever. Charles in Charge was awesome. Great. The show was okay. Scott Baio, if you guys ever watched it. But the frickin' theme song, loved it. Loved it, folks. All right, so a lot of people are super pissed. Diddy Combs, basically, I don't want to say he got off. I mean, he did, obviously. He was really into baby oil and stuff. But, I mean, he's not going to jail for life. He'll likely go to jail for months. It could be up to 10 years, but there's no way in hell he's going that long. So he might serve a small stint in jail, but by no means did he get what everybody assumes he should get. Now, I want to couch this with the fact that he was in court. He was judged by a jury of his peers. I didn't see the court case. Maybe some of you guys followed it a lot closer than me, and that's your opinions might matter significantly more than mine. But I intentionally stayed out of the fold of this. I didn't care, first off. I really don't. What Diddy is not like Epstein. I don't think Diddy was trafficking as much as he is a pedophile that promotes pedophilia within the music industry. And again, not trying to justify this. This is a disgusting industry, but that's also how it's been. I've said before, I think, I went on a modeling shoot when I was younger, and I was going down. I went to one of the people that was recommended down in Laguna Beach, known as the Gay Bay. Well, actually, it's San Francisco, but Laguna Beach has it's competing. Let's just say that. And the photographer, he was told a pedophile. He didn't do anything other than have me like show my body and stuff like that, and like it was kind of weird. He didn't touch me inappropriately. I didn't have to show my junk or anything like that, but he had me take my shirt off and some weird stuff. And afterwards, I felt very uncomfortable, and that's what I told my mom when I was driving home. I'm like, nah, I don't feel comfortable with that at all. My radar's always been solid. I was a very young man, and I knew there was a predator in the room. So again, not making any excuses for this dude. I think most people went to freak-offs knowing full well what the frick a freak-off was. So again, a lot of people are pissed, and I oftentimes take the side in the middle, basically. Like, I think he's a bad man, but I didn't see the case. I'm certainly, like they say, you're guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty. Apparently, he wasn't totally proven guilty. I'm trying to see where they got the charges. They got them spelled out here someplace. All right, so this is just, he was there. All right. So Diddy likely going to be sentenced to months, not years. Let's see, the convictions for interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution likely will lead to a sentence that will be measured in months, not years. The starting point under the U.S. sentencing guidelines will be a sentencing range from 15 to 21 months for that. I think there's another one. Sentencing range will be argued by lawyers, of course. But Combs has already been in jail nearly 10 months since September 16th. So likely he's not going to have to serve any time. Time served, basically. There was another one, too. He got busted on... Essentially, this is prostitution stuff, taking prostitutes across the line. There was 2 charges that he got nailed for, the 5 which were RICO, and there was a couple other weird things. Those didn't. Jury came back and said no, not enough evidence to suggest that all of this racketeering was going on, and even kidnapping and all that kind of stuff. And one thing I want to point out that was consistent with this case, and I think it actually, I don't know if the dude was hired by Diddy, it would make sense, or a deep state, for sure, would make sense. And this is how they work, and I don't think a lot of people understand it, because it's backwards. You would say, huh? But what they did, the lawyer that was lining up all the Jane Does that were claiming that Diddy did all these things, I'm going to guarantee you, with 95% certainty, that lawyer, deep state lawyer, he was doing this intentionally. Because as we started going through, and there was more and more names, and it started to feel like Bill Cosby, and then they were dropping out. They were dropping out like left, right, and center. Just boom, 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 boom. Another one dropped, another one dropped, another one dropped. And pretty soon there was hardly anyone. And what that did is it made Diddy look less guilty. Again, pretty sure the lawyer was a deep state lawyer. There's no way he did that being stupid. He even got people that would admit to crimes, and then when they really got pressed, backed out because they didn't have any proof. So again, where a lot of this came from, I think was intentionally meant to get Diddy off. Not to say that again. Still kind of funny. Doge dividend guru and Trump ally forms a PAC, or a PAC, to counter Musk. This James baby cat? Fish. 30-year-old investor and ally of President Donald J. Trump has launched the FSD PAC. It's a super PAC. Super duper PAC. It's aimed at countering Tesla CEO Elon Musk's political machinations. The PAC's full name is Full Support for Donald, which they're saying is kind of a jab at Tesla's full self-driving technology. Yeah. Fishback is a former advisor for the Department of the Government Efficiency, where Musk was also involved, yada, yada. So they're creating this counter to what Musk is likely going to do. Some have said that I think the Libertarian Party is trying to get him on board. I don't think I have the story pulled. It's one of the things I read. Democrats are the least popular lawmakers in Congress. Didn't know if you knew that. But what I found to be interesting is where this poll comes from. And I was like, huh? You guys are saying this? Damn. So this is a Marist, which I've never heard of, but NPR/PBS. You heard of them? About as hardcore left-leaning as popular? Yeah. Their news poll, it was released on July 1st, states that 58% of American voters disapprove of what the Democratic leaders are doing in Congress, with 27% approving. 27% of the tiny pool of people that are actually Democrats and admitting to it actually like what's happening. Speaking of which, and here is, and again, I think that's a percentage of the socialists, which is mostly of that. And again, who actually responded to that survey? It's got to be left-leaning people. I think any smart right-leaning person would be like, who? NPR? No, I don't. I call, break, up, click. That's how that would go for me. I used to use, great excuse too, by the way. I can't technically, legally, well, I could legally. I mean, you can do it and say whatever the hell you want, but it's not true anymore. But I used to work in media, literally. Like I literally worked for a company that was a media company. And so I could just say, and because you're not allowed to do surveys if you work in media. You're not supposed to. Anyways. Here is communist. This is happening in New York. I think this is one of the things that's meant to help wake New York up. I think. And probably the rest of the nation. Gavin Newsom here in California, well, Karen Bass actually is much more akin to this dude. She hasn't quite gone to the straight-up communism in your face like this guy has. We'll play it. But she's pretty much acted like a communist, and we know her background is communist. So this Mamdani guy is, he's a communist. It's a hardcore socialist. He's happy to admit that. He tries to dance away from the communist stuff, basically because, you know, we don't like communists here in this country, Mamdani. Oy.
What the purpose is about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists, and we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS, right, or whether it's the end goal of seizing the means of production, where we do not have the same level of support at this very moment. And what I want to say is that it is critical that in the way that we organize, in the way that we set up our work and our priorities, that we do not leave any one issue for the other, that we do not meet a moment and only look at what people are ready for, but that we are doing both of these things in tandem. Because it is critical for us to both meet people where they're at and to also organize for what is correct and for what is right, and to ensure that over time we can bring people to that issue. The ramifications of victory here is the difference between life and death for so many of our brothers, sisters, and family beyond the binary across this borough of Queens. It's the difference between having cash bail anymore or not. It's the difference between having sex work be decriminalized and not. And with every battle that we fight as socialists, we need to remember what the stakes are and ground ourselves in them, and why those stakes are important and critical to us as individuals.
So wait, we're supposed to grind you into stakes? Maybe I probably misunderstood that. I think I heard that wrong. But again, talking about seizing production, by the way, that communism. He's saying all the communist stuff, unquestionably. Kirsty Nome let us know this. This is just strange, and I guess they're just using it as an example of one of the crazy-ass mofos that managed to get into this country. But there was a deportation flight, and literally a cannibal was one of the people we were deporting back to their country so he could cannibalize people in his own place, not here. Everyone knows Americans taste sweeter. Look at all the fast food we eat. Come on, we taste like French fries. Well, this dude started eating himself. Yeah, literally. Literally to the point where there was like blood and it was bad. Like, wow. Either he was, the in-flight snack wasn't quite to his liking and felt he could do better. Don't know. The self-service is strange when it comes to that. Whatever. The USAID NGO complex, the industrial complex. It's officially over. It's a big deal. Marco Rubio just killed it. Most of it was over 80%. 80% of its programs are shut down. This is official. Beginning July 1st, the State Department will now take over such programs under the Trump administration's directive to prioritize America's national interests. Rubio stated that USAID has failed to meet development objectives for decades, often worsening instability and fostering anti-American sentiment. Beyond creating a globe-spanning NGO industrial complex at taxpayers' expense, USAID has little to show since the end of the Cold War. This era of government-sanctioned inefficiency has officially come to an end. Biden's New York City migrant funds. You know those funds we clawed back? It was $1 billion or whatever? That's what they used to build Alligator Alcatraz. Isn't that kind of funny? Like, how much has that got to piss off everybody on the left? You got to appreciate that. Apparently, New Mexico is the most dependent state on the federal government. New Jersey is the least dependent on the federal government. You might be surprised on this list. I was surprised where my state was. I was expecting it to be way higher up the list. I was surprised as hell. New Mexico, the worst. West Virginia is number 2. Alaska's number 3. Number 4 is Mississippi. District of Columbia, which doesn't even exist technically, is number 5. Alabama, Kentucky, Arizona, Montana, and then Maine at number 10. So, and then Hawaii at 11. Think of the places that you hear bitch and cry the most, right? About USAID being shut down or AID being shut down. Michigan's down at 17. But New York and California. New York's 47th, California's 48th. Wow. I was shocked. I was expecting more. 49, Minnesota. Yeah, another jack state. Washington State, 50. And New Jersey, 51. How are they not getting federal money? Are they doing it in some weird way? Because these are probably some of the worst states in the union for getting federal dollars. How exactly? Now, oddly, with the exception of Minnesota, they all have ports, which I guess a lot of traffic and taxes can come that way. But, well, I don't know. Shame and name. Client activist satellite backed by Bezos. It's been lost. This is the one that's supposed to be looking for cow farts and all that kind of stuff. It's literally methane anyways. Not just cow farts. There's apparently methane and other stuff. Mining. On Friday, June 20th, the methane sat mission operations, they lost contact with methane sat after pursuing all options to restore communications. We learned this morning that the satellite has lost power and that it is likely not recoverable. While this is difficult news, it is not the end of the overall methane sat efforts or our work to slash methane emissions. One, wondering always, is that literally all this did? Just methane looking? And was it just a Bezos thing, right? And just annoying, and it just failed because they don't know how to make good stuff? Very possible, right? I, of course, like many of you, are wanting to give it more conspiracy oomph. Kind of wonder if something happened to this stupid satellite, or if it possibly had other tech on it that wasn't very friendly in the big picture, or was lying to us, like causing problems because of the lies. Who knows? I don't know. I was wondering if it was taken down, if you will. It's not hard to kind of destroy something, especially something that probably doesn't have security built into it. We learned back in the movie Space Cowboys forever ago that satellites then had security. Of course they do now. They have radar and stuff. You get anywhere near them, they're going to start doing weird stuff. So, something to think about. I want to remind you guys, a healthy home, one of my favorite products, or Heal Thy Home is another way to look at it. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Just great products, about 5 or 6 of them. Stem cells are what heal your body. Stem Active and Stem Active Gel. Gel's just the liquid version. Stem Active are the pills. It helps your body kick its own stem cell numbers up. If there's no stem cells in it, you're not getting stem cells put into you. You're actually having your own body with natural ingredients create 25 to 40% more stem cells. Just boom. You keep taking this one, you're going to notice healing. I had a bad shoulder from a dislocation. It was hurting when I was working it out, and that pain went away, and it was probably about 3 weeks when I started realizing, I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't hurt anymore. It was kind of probably a day or two of working out where I was like, hang on, like something's missing. Girlfriend had calcification in her shoulder. Now, between the Amaze, the collagen peptides, and Stem Active, she is totally able to use her shoulder now. Like, it's way healed. I'm sure she's still got calcification in there, but whatever the case is, she is way healed. Like, she's able to hug me. She's able to lift it. She doesn't wince every time. So that's amazing. I have a police officer friend that also was using the Stem Active. She was having shoulder and hip issues. She was feeling way better as well after about 2, 3, 4 weeks. And she also started using the collagen peptides, the Amaze. And people were asking her, like, what's up with your skin? It just looks so nice. She noticed that right off the bat. I only gave her 1 box. I gave it because I wanted her to try it and see what she said. 15 packs. And she was within that time frame. People were noticing. It's incredible products, folks. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Get your Stem Active, get your stem cells kicked up. Balance is a product where, ladies, when the change is happening, right? Like, during that, you're a little out of whack, and temperatures are fluctuating, and moods are all over the place, right? Everything's just kind of weird. This doesn't have any hormones in it, thank God, but it's got plant-based stuff where it helps your body deal with this process. Ladies that are using it are finding that they're sleeping better, they're feeling better, their relationships are improving, which I think some of those other things are connected. A lot of positives coming from it. It's called Balance. It's a transdermal lotion. You rub a little on your wrist, rub your other wrist on it. You're done. You're set for the day. That's it. That's all you got to do. And people are finding that it's tending to last a while, 2 to 3 months. Most of the stuff is kind of packaged for a month at a time, with 2 exceptions, Balance being one of them, and Amaze being the other. Amaze is amazing. It's the collagen peptides. You got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, stuff like that. Collagen's your friend. Collagen's what you need, you know? Collagen, I'd say, is your best friend, but it won't pick you up at the airport. So how good a friend is it really, you know? That's what I think. But Amaze is amazing. That's why they call it that. Get your collagen peptides. It's the best form. It's liquid. It immediately gets into your body. Prime is high energy. It's great stuff. It actually expands your blood vessels. It's a nitric oxide booster. It essentially just allows you to get more oxygen throughout your body, and that is energy, essentially, plus all the other stuff that comes in the blood. So it's a powerful, powerful mode. It's just a powder. It's delicious, and it's going to get your energy up. And we've got Stem Active for pets. This is actually not that expensive, by the way. It's like less than what people pay for. I want to say almost like half. So if you've got animals that maybe have had surgeries, that have some injuries, that maybe have some problems themselves, right? Hip dysplasia even, I think this actually can help. It won't heal them. That's a bone thing, but it actually helps with a lot of the pain, a lot of the inflammation, a lot of the stuff like that. It actually makes a huge difference. STEM Active for Pets, another powerful product. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices. Healthy choices equal healthy life, and we like that, right? Appeals court likely is going to back Trump on the Alien Enemies Act. It's a conservative court. It's a 3-panel court. Most likely they're going to be pro-Trump on this one. We'll see when we get there, but that's coming up soon. Also, we had a federal judge in Washington, D.C. ruled Wednesday that President Trump's proclamation suspending asylum processing at the southern border exceeded the administration's legal authority under the immigration laws established by Congress, but stayed the decision for 14 days. We'll see how this plays out. U.S. District Judge Randolph D. Moss in civil action number 25-306, if you're playing along at home, granted relief to the asylum seekers in refugee and immigration centers, education and legal services versus Kristi Noem. So we'll let it play out. Obviously, appeals courts are going to get involved. Pretty sure Trump's allowed to handle how it works at the border more than Congress. It does feel like an executive function to a large extent. Dealmaker in chief, man, we're heading into the big, beautiful bill. This is huge. Final passage of the big bill will be a career-defining achievement for Trump. Obviously, it's one of the last bastions they're hoping to stop Trump from doing. They want him to have a fail so badly. Everything he's doing so far is just friggin' awesome. The Midas touch, which is odd because Trump's all about gold, so it pretty much fits. So we'll see as these things continue to play out, but if he pulls this off, it's going to be fantabulous. Trump tripped this out. Almost all of our great Republicans in the United States Senate have passed our one big, beautiful bill. It is no longer a House bill or a Senate bill. It is everyone's bill. There is so much to be proud of, and everyone got a major policy win. But the biggest winner of them all will be the American people, who will have permanently lower taxes, higher wages and take-home pay, secure borders, and a stronger and more powerful military. Additionally, Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security benefits are not being cut, but are being strengthened and protected from the radical and destructive Democrats by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse from those programs. We can have all of this right now, but only if the House GOP unites, ignores its occasional grandstanders, you know who we are, and does the right thing, which is sending this bill to my desk. We are on schedule. Let's keep it going to be done before you and your families go on a July 4th vacation. The American people need and deserve it. They sent us here to get it done. Our country is going to explode with massive growth, even more than it already has since I was reelected. Between the growth, this bill, our tariffs, and more, the one big, beautiful bill sets the United States down a fiscal path by greatly reducing our federal deficit and setting us on a course for enormous prosperity in the new and wonderful golden age of America. To my GOP friends in the House, stay united, have fun, and vote yay. God bless you all. Now, Eric Schmidt, the senator as well, from, where is he from? He is from John Kennedy's place. Where the hell's that? I forget where he's at. Whatever the hell. He said, today the Senate will vote for the largest investment in reversing mass migration in human history. Doubles ICE detention capacity, doubles Border Patrol budget, 10,000 new ICE agents, $46.5 billion for border wall, and so much more. We're taking back our country. Here was Stephen Smith talking about POTUS and what he is trying to do, and just a proud moment for all of us right now.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say on a personal note, getting to watch what you've done over the last 5 months to deliver on a 50-year hope and dream of the American people to secure the border. When President Trump came into office on January 20th, the United States had endured the largest wave of illegal immigration in human history. Not just American history, human history. And within just a few days, President Trump, through his strength, leadership, diplomacy, and vision, achieved the most secure border anyone in the world has ever seen. When we recently went overseas to the NATO summit, I had senior staff in foreign governments come up to me and ask me how he achieved the Trump miracle on his border, and could that be replicated in their countries. For individuals who don't work in this space, to have 0 successful illegal entries in an entire month should be an impossible achievement. There's a 2,000-mile border with one of the poorest countries in the world, and you have open travel from 150 countries into Central America and South America. There are 2 billion people in the world that would economically benefit from illegally coming to the United States. And through the deployment of the military, through the deployment of novel legal and diplomatic tools, through the building of physical infrastructure, through the empowering of ICE and Border Patrol and the entire federal law enforcement apparatus, President Trump achieved absolute border security. And now, once this legislation is passed, he will be able to make that with those resources permanent. Watching what you've done, sir, has been one of the honors of a lifetime. I'm proud to be able to play any role in it. And what President Trump is going to achieve next with the resources in this bill will make America safer, stronger, freer, more sovereign, and more prosperous than it has ever been before. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
Likewise, I'm proud to be a part of this in any way, shape, or form. It's just, again, I realize I'm a part of this and maybe more of a, behind-the-scenes guy in some regards, but we are definitely making huge progress. Donald Trump tweeted this out. Nobody wants to talk about growth, which will be the primary reason that the big, beautiful bill will be one of the most successful pieces of legislation ever passed. This growth has already begun at levels never seen before. Trillions of dollars are now being invested into the USA more than ever before. Likewise, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs are filling up the coffers of the Treasury. The tariff money has already arrived, and it is setting new records. We are growing our way out of sleepy Joe Biden's mess that he and the Democrats left us, and it is happening much faster than anyone thought possible. Our country will make a fortune this year, more than any of our competitors, but only if the big, beautiful bill is passed. As they say, Trump's been right about everything, and this is the easiest of them all to predict. Republicans, don't let the radical left Democrats push you around. We've got all the cards. We're going to use them. Last year, America was a dead nation with no hope for the future, and now it's the hottest nation in the world. Make America great again. So House Republican leaders vow to pass this big, beautiful bill. They're saying a vote Wednesday. GOP does face some tight vote deadlines on this mega bill. House of Representatives racing against this to pass this bill. They had a 12-hour debate, I guess, that they were doing. This is kind of yesterday-ish, last night. Again, Trump talking about the grandstanders. Mega bill hits an unexpected procedural snag. Now, this is kind of weird. They say it has a mistake in it. I haven't heard an update yet on whether they've fixed this mistake, but they vowed to fix this mistake. But it has a mistake in it, said Massachusetts Rep. Jim McGovern, the top Rules Committee Democrat, on the floor Wednesday. He said Republicans don't have an escape hatch if they start it and realize they don't have the votes. That's a key consequence, they said. So as currently written, the rule does not order the previous question, nor does it prohibit intervening motions. Long story short, that means once the House begins debate on the procedural measure, Johnson doesn't have a ripcord he can pull to delay or reschedule voting. Moreover, Democrats would be free to deploy a variety of delay tactics, including motions to adjourn or table the measure. McGovern added that Republicans will probably offer an amendment to fix the issue, but argued that if Republicans can't get a one-paragraph rule right, they shouldn't be trusted to pass an 870-page bill touching taxes, healthcare, defense, and more. So definitely want to fix it. One's got to wonder if they put that or left that out intentionally, hoping the House would miss it. I think they did, and it sounds like they caught it, and they're likely going to be okay with it. House Rules Committee advances Trump's mega bill. So this is where it got through the committee. A 7-6 vote barely made it, but it made it, which means it's now able to be brought up on the House floor. White House summons House GOP holdouts threatening Trump mega bill. So again, this was that conversation I was talking about earlier. Trump obviously trying to make this happen. Let's go ahead and play this. This has at least Mike Johnson talking. Might be good to hear. Check it out.
After a tight vote in the Senate, the president's megabill will head to the House floor.
They went a little further than many of us would have preferred.
House Speaker Mike Johnson suggested the vote could take place as early as Wednesday, which doesn't give much time for lawmakers to go through all the changes.
I am reading through it as we speak.
You're reading the bill.
I have not read through the entirety of it.
You have not read it. You're reading through the bill while we're here.
Correct.
The House Rules Committee was the final step before going to the House floor. It got no's from all Democrats and only 2 Republicans, South Carolina Congressman Ralph Norman and Texas Congressman Chip Roy, citing issue with the Senate's changes.
And they sent it knowing that it was going to have increased deficits.
I'll vote against it here, and I'll vote against it on the floor.
Republican supporters of the Senate bill have highlighted its roughly $4 trillion in tax cuts, new funding for border security, and key Trump campaign promises.
No tax on tips. No tax on overtime work.
But House Democrats are calling this a worse version of the House bill, as it would slash programs like Medicaid and SNAP.
You're worried about someone on SNAP who gets an average of $2 per meal.
Mothers are coming up to me crying in elevators. Medicaid is the largest payer of health care for so many people. This bill is going to hurt them.
Yeah, the only people we're taking it away from is 1, able-bodied people that can work, and 2, illegals. That's it. So if you're able-bodied and you can work and you've been just sucking off the teat because you don't want to work and you're crying about that, well, yeah, you're probably some progressive Karen, essentially. So, yeah. Okay, I'm sure they're walking up to you in elevators crying. They're crying all the time. You know, if they don't have their emotional support animal with them, God knows what's going to happen to those poor things. Here's Newt talking about this, I think talking about this bill. That would make sense. Or talking about the direction we're going, aggressive reforms, yada, yada. We'll get there.
To continue making.
We'll listen to it. That's what's going to happen, and then I'll know what the hell and why I pulled this in here.
Do you think that voters will hold the Democrats accountable for their lack of putting America first, Newt? I mean, you've got the midterms coming up in 26. How do you see things happening going into that?
Well, the best analyst I know is a guy named Seth Keshel, who studies registration by county and state. Just issued a report 2 days ago that in every single county in Pennsylvania, Republicans have gained ground. Every single county. And so Keshel thinks we're probably going to keep the House and could keep the House by a big margin. The Democrats have got radicalism like Mamdani and AOC, and the Democrats have a history now of voting for tax increases, and the Democrats have to carry the burden of the Biden record. If the Republicans campaign strategically, they will have an astonishingly good year next year, and will be much like Franklin Roosevelt in 1934. It will consolidate the Trump majority and give the president 2 more years to continue making very aggressive reforms in what is now a 90-year-old system that's frankly corrupt and bureaucratic and incompetent.
I also think this is meant to be specifically one of the bills. Like, it's time to get behind Trump and just kind of, we'll take, most of this is really good. There's a little bit of suck, but the way things are coming, we've got trillions of dollars in investment coming. We've got movements being made to actually reduce the expense of government. We've got a whole thing where we've stopped illegals from coming in, and then on top of that, stopped them from being able to take money from our coffers. We've stopped a lot of things, and none of that is actually brought up in regards to the bill. So what this bill is doing is letting us all know who should not get reelected. Who's the rhinos? Who's not really supporting what we're trying to do here? Who doesn't understand the bigger picture? Marjorie Taylor Greene, you better figure it out, sweetheart. You keep straddling the fence, you're going to fall one way or the other. Make sure you fall on the right side, because you won't make it through an election if you do this wrong. I'm telling you, Massey's toast. Toast. And there's probably many like him. Chip Roy, again, I'd love to see you be on the right side of this. You're another like Marjorie Taylor type person. It'd be a shame to have to push your ass out. And again, that's what this comes down to. We are MAGA. We will fix our elections. We're going to paper ballots. They're not going to be able to cheat. We are taking back our country. Trump is allowing us the ability to do that and see the problem. And I think Newt hit the nail on the head. Republicans challenge Arizona's law permitting non-residents to register to vote. They filed this in Maricopa County, which is pretty awesome, in their Superior Court against the state and Secretary of State Adrian Fontes. The challenge contests the legality of a section of state law stipulating that, quote, any United States citizen who has never resided in the United States and whose parent is a United States citizen who is registered to vote in this state is eligible to register to vote and may vote in this state using a federal write-in early ballot. This lawsuit was brought by the Republican National Committee, who should have standing. That'll be key. And the Arizona GOP, Arizona GOP chair, Gina Swoboda, she's restoring integrity and trust in the elections. The Right PAC is sponsoring the litigation. So again, a lot of things coming together. Arizona's a state that needs to flip back. California is a state that we need to insist on paper ballots because it's going to make it very, 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 very hard for California to cheat the way they want to. Very hard. Now, they'll probably somehow still allow illegals to vote, but I think they're working on that. I think lawsuits have been happening, so we'll keep moving in the direction that we need to move in, that's for sure. Trump announces great Vietnam trade deal. Says total access to their markets. Made a big, big deal with Vietnam. This is huge. So, again, this is going to help bring a lot of money back into the country. He says it's his great honor to announce that I've just made a trade deal with the Socialist Republic of Vietnam after speaking with To Lam, the highly respected General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam. He said it will be a great deal of cooperation between our two countries. The terms are that Vietnam will pay the United States a 20% tariff on any and all goods sent into our territory and a 40% tariff on any trans-shipping, meaning if China ships stuff through them, they have to pay a 40%, and we'll probably figure out that they're actually doing it. This is what they agreed to, by the way. It's interesting. They're temporarily reducing the levy. Let's see. Trump had announced 46 tariff rate announcement, looming reciprocal tariffs, but temporarily reduced. I think they talked about opening the market, though. Where's the data on that? In return, Vietnam will do something that they have never done before, give the United States of America total access to their markets for trade. In other words, they will open their market to the United States, meaning that we will be able to sell our products into Vietnam at zero tariff. So why are we charging them so much? No, whatever. We'll see if we actually sell any stuff there. Maybe they don't have money to buy it. Who knows? But it is his opinion that the SUV, or as it's sometimes referred to, large engine vehicle, which does so well in the United States, will be a wonderful addition to the various product lines with Vietnam. Some people, especially the rich people, will love to have American products. I know that's one thing. Like the Russians back in the day, like just if they could get their hands on a pair of Levi's or something like that, and they'd wear them just with pride because nobody had Levi's. They got a pair, It was like a big deal. It was a huge deal to them. Trump says Israel agrees to a 60-day ceasefire, waiting to see what Hamas does over there in Gaza. I thought we destroyed Hamas. I thought Hamas was destroyed. Still wondering if this is like their attempt to, Trump's trying to tamp it down. I think I speculated yesterday prior to that, but I believe that Israel was using it, or the deep state, let's be more specific, I guess, that the deep state was using it to try to re-warm up the war. Because again, they don't want to not be at war. Trump's like 60-day ceasefire. Israel agreed. We'll see if Hamas does too. MI6 apparently infiltrated the IAEA, says the media. It's a veteran British spy allegedly worked inside the UN nuclear watchdog amid escalating tension over Iran. We understand that Iran kicked the IAEA out. It's weird because I saw that story like a week plus ago, and then like today, and maybe yesterday, but today a bunch, all over the place. This story is popping up. Iran's decided to step and not trust the IAEA or step away or what. It's like, huh? This was old news. Maybe it officially happened now. I don't know, but it is what it is. But yes, apparently the MI6 infiltrated it, which I was speculating. I think it was yesterday. I was like, I bet there's a spy in there or something. Yeah, it's sometimes just saying. North Korea remote workers at U.S. firms funneled millions into weapons programs. So these people were working remotely for U.S. companies, and then all their money they made basically was going into North Korea's weapons program. So we're kind of putting a stop to that right now, which sucks for North Koreans. But yeah, they're stealing their money. So I guess that you're like a slave having to work for us, and then you don't even get to keep the American money that you're making. Trump DOJ catches Chinese agents spying on U.S. Navy. They were trying to recruit some servicemen. There was two of these jokers. Got arrested for spying, essentially. So we're seem to be paying a lot of attention to anything even remotely weird right now, which is good. See something, say something. That's what they say. Chinese espionage in the U.S. is a full-blown blitz. is what a security expert was saying. I think this is, I'm not playing that whole thing. There was an interview apparently someplace in here. Colonel John Mills, retired senior fellow at the Center for Security Policy and a U.S.-China relations analyst, said the recent arrests of 2 Chinese nationals attempting to recruit U.S. Navy officers is just the tip of the iceberg. He described China's actions as part of a broader espionage blitz, combining cyber operations with aggressive human intelligence work. According to Mills, Chinese agents have surveilled Navy recruitment stations, tracked individuals of Chinese heritage, and monitored U.S. military facilities, including those in Washington state. Which, of course, it's happening in Washington state. Fiji is pushing back on Chinese military base in the Pacific. Apparently, China was going to either buy it or build one. But they're like, nah, we don't want you there. And China's like, we don't need to anyway. Yeah. And literally, China basically said that. I mean, they didn't say it quite as douchey as they made it, but, it's, Hollywood it up a little bit. Come on, guys. But yeah, China has expanded their presence in the Pacific, but they're apparently like, all right, we're not going there then. There's probably one place where Fiji will be like, U.S.? Yeah, totally. You wanna use our base? Which is a pretty good base here. Looks like a pretty long runway. And they got some hangars. So that's not a bad little base. Might be able to use that. Defying China, the Dalai Lama says his office will approve reincarnated successor. Woo! That's awesome. That's awesome. And cool religion, man. Cool religion where the dude's like that's in charge is like, look, I'm going to come back as another dude, and I trust these guys over here to figure out which one of those new dudes is me. And then once they do, they're going to be like, he's in charge, China, F you don't have any say in the matter. And there you go. That's how that rolls. That's how the Dalai Lama continues to llama on the Dalai. You got to be able to, man. You got to roll with it. U.S. is seeking Congo Pact to cut China's mineral hold. They are going to some of the places China has kind of tried to make negotiations, but a lot of countries were leery to China because they did kind of the same general thing. They made promises and don't keep them. They kind of keep doing that. It gives you a bad reputation. But yeah, needless to say, we are working with Congo. We obviously know that little dealio with the ending the war was happening, and we're like, so how about letting us get in there and we'll pay you actual money. We're good for it. You know that. And so, yeah, we're finally getting our hands on some rare earths. If we can do that and take away China's stranglehold over us, China's going to kind of be screwed. And I don't ever want to see the country do poorly, but the Communist Chinese Party's got to shut down and stop. They've got to stop controlling their people. They've got to open it up to more of a free market concept. And if they do, China would be the just greatest friends ever. It'd be fantastic. And so hopefully we can get to that point. This is a little bit kumbaya, but I think we can actually get there. We're moving in that direction. Let's see. We got China ramping up its rare earth magnet exports. Supposedly they are finally exporting stuff. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks. It sounds like, some shit's finally moving. We'll see. Automakers are stoked. We'll see. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. Want to remind you guys of the Root Brands, another great product. Finally grabbed my my Restore. This stuff's awesome. It's so good. Little packets, right? You just drink them up, drink it good, and they just help with joints, your gut biome. They're just good stuff. Good minerals to get back into your body. They're incredible that way. I guess we'll just go to shop. That's what I usually do. Just a lot of good stuff here. I mean, we love talking about it. They got coffee and stuff too, by the way. Give Me Back My Youth is really awesome. It's a collagen colostrum. Colostrum? Close, one of those two. But anyway, it's like when nursing first starts happening in a mammal, the first bit of milk or whatever is super nutrient rich. It's like really dark, It's like really, really dark. And that's colostrum, right? That's that stuff. And so it's super high nutrients, and it's got the collagen in there too. So this is a really, really good supplement for collagen. It's in a powder. So this is one of those things where you kind of need to blend it into something, or that's where I think the collagen peptides are almost better because it's a liquid. But this has the colostrum in it too, which I don't believe is in the Amaze. This is kind of a really, really awesome product if you're really, really worried about all that. Clean Slate's another one of those if you want to get the nasties out of your body. Heavy metals for sure. I think some of this might work a little bit with I don't know. I think it's more the wellness company. I think they got the thing to get rid of the spikes. But this is for heavy metals and a lot of the crap, which there's a lot of that in us. Spike Sport's not going to help you with that, but it helps with the spikes, right? This will help you with heavy metals, right? Mercury, lead, a lot of the stuff that ends up in a lot of our foods and trace amounts. But the problem is those trace amounts never leave your body unless you do something about it. Very powerful product. Zero in, great energy, helps me stay focused. I absolutely love this stuff. And it's got a teeny bit of caffeine. I don't know, 45 milligrams. It's not small. I think a cup of coffee is like 25 or something like that. But, well, a regular cup of coffee, get it like a Starbucks Venti or some shit. That's maybe different. But it's got some other stuff in it, like herbal stuff and all that. So it just helps you, like, you don't feel jittery, you don't feel weird, you just focus. It's kind of like that other the powder stuff. Right? It's kind of like this stuff too. It just gives you energy. You don't know necessarily when it kicks in, but it's like it's working. Restore, just again, support bone health, supports gut biome, helps blood pressure, provides antioxidants, anti-inflammatory benefits. Just kind of a really, really good product to help out. And again, they've got Crush. Sculpt is the one that's like, it helps your appetite. I like this one. It's one that's kind of fun. Crush is a powder. You want to put that. That's got aminos in it. You want to put that, blend it up. You also want to do the Give Me Back My Youth. You should put in there. And Relive Greens is another powder that if you're going to do the smoothie thing every day, you should have some Crush, Give Me Back My Youth, and some Relive Greens. Have those three, scoop of each in there with protein powder, whatever you're doing. You're going to be friggin' happy for it, that's for sure. Clean Spirits, neat product line that kind of has to do with drinkers. Those of you who like to drink, you wake up and it's been a hard night. This actually helps. It's like a great day after pill. This stuff actually works too. I've used it. They've got these, just check them out. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time. And then their skin products are redonkulous. The moisturizer I've used before, it's incredible. And on top of that, they've got this peptide cleanser, this serum, all this stuff, facelift product. And chicks I've talked to, they are raving about how well this works. And that's kind of one of the fun things. Healthy Home's the same way. I like products that are like legit, have really good stuff. These guys, just good ingredients. They're making awesome products. They're incredible. Go to The Root Brands, ROOT, therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. Therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style. Dan Radio Style is going to be your sponsor code. If you go in with the link, therootbrands.com/Dan Radio Style, fills it out for you. If for some reason you end up there without that link, just put in Dan Radio Style, one word, as the sponsor, and you will, because you need it, it's a required field, and you'll be good to go. So that'll help you get to that next step. Good products, though. The Root Brands are good stuff. Chuck Grassley is saying, according to 2 FBI records, FBI headquarters, so we know they suppressed information and tried to bury the data. We found out even more. They suppressed intel about alleged Chinese interference in the 2020 election to avoid embarrassing Chris Wray, who made conflicting testimony to Congress's FBI. FBI's job is to perform due diligence without politics in the mind. Under Chris Wray's leadership, the FBI failed its mission. Literally. They buried it and burned it because it went against what Chris Wray said. It would have made him a liar. We, the media, put this out: relocate, decontaminate, and that's for sure what we need to do. Kash Patel shutting down the FBI Hoover building and moving the HQ across D.C. to the Ronald Reagan building. One thing I think that's going to be fabulous about this, like he is saying, we, the media, is, there's probably not as much stuff already baked into there. You know what I mean? Like just years of spying on their own people. Very different. And I'm sure that's a big part of why they sometimes try to get out of those buildings, because the deep state's probably got a lot of different devices that are in there. Trump ally that we know as Alina Habba, a.k.a. the hottie lawyer. Damn. This lady is been tapped as the full-time New Jersey, what do they call it? What is she? Attorney, U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey. They have announced on Tuesday. So Habba is going to be one of 24 nominations sent to the Senate. We'll see if she makes it through. Right now, she's the temporary or whatever. We'll see if that goes through. I think many of us would love to see that. She's already busted some people out there. She was one of the people that the New Jersey governor was in the ICE facility, right? And then you had, I can't remember the chick's name. I feel like it was in here somewhere. But LaMonica McIver, that chick, two-armed into the security. Yeah. Alina was the one that was been pushing this, so she's definitely good sauce. That didn't come out very smooth, but my brain did not want to. She's just hot. I can't talk when she's on the screen. There was a fireworks warehouse here in California. At first, I was like, "What? Like they're so super illegal here? How are there fireworks warehouses?" And then I'm like, "Oh, because there's so many stupid fireworks shows." So yeah, there was a warehouse in Yolo. You only live once. Yolo County, apparently, California. Again, never been there. It's a big state, though. Who knows? Lots of places I haven't been. But yeah, they described a earth-shattering explosion, and it did pretty much that. Let's see if we got some of. So let's go ahead and play some of this. Oh, it's not my girl. Whatever.
Yolo County, after a series of explosions at a fireworks warehouse. Local media reported blazes consuming about 80 acres of land around the warehouse yesterday. According to officials, the blasts erupted around 5:50 p.m. in the rural town of Esparto, west of Sacramento. Residents described...
Wouldn't it have been cool if, like right in the middle of the sky, it's like, Trump 2026, right? Like some weird, like some weird picture of Trump moonwalking across the sky. I don't know, just saying. If it was one of those cool fireworks shows. Okay, maybe that wasn't funny, but we tried. Trans athlete Leah Thomas loses her swim title because she's not a she. She might like to think of herself as such, but she was born a man. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Leah. I just don't believe men should participate in women's sports because it's unfair. And so, the individual lost their title. There we go. That was tough. I still screwed up with my niece. It was horrible. Horrible. University of Pennsylvania has agreed to ban transgender biological males from its women's sports teams. They needed to do this to follow the Title IX stuff and get back into good graces with Trump. So this is a huge victory. And it's University of Penn, which aren't they the ones that is got the Chinese people? And then wasn't that Biden's? Wasn't that his one of his where his library was or some weird thing? UPenn, wasn't that? I think so. Or had offices there or something. I feel like he does. Productivity gains from using AI. It's a neat little breakdown. This chart via visual capitalist Niccolo Contente. All right, maybe he's just making it up himself, but he's supposedly tied some Stanford University thing in the World Bank. But this is one of the many things where I think AI is going to be super useful when it comes to saving us time. There's things that we waste a lot of time on that we don't need to. Writing depends. Creative writing is one thing, and I don't think AI will ever be able to creatively create. AI can't create. It just doesn't have a soul. And so it can only kind of mimic, but creating I don't think is going to happen. I think a lot of people keep trying to personify AI way more than it should be. But what might have taken a normal person 80 minutes should probably only take about 25. If AI is helping. Active learning, it drops it down significantly. Critical thinking, troubleshooting, management of material resources, judgment and decision making, time management, mathematics, complex problem solving, instructing, system analysis, operations analysis, management of personnel, programming, quality control analysis, management of finances, and technology design. Huge on that, by the way. Technology design, 142 minutes normally, down to 39. Huge difference. So again, this AI, if used properly, should allow us more time to work on things we actually enjoy. How many people have a job? They're like, I like my job, but I hate doing this one thing. It's redundant. It's repetitive. What if you didn't have to do that anymore? What if you did just the parts you enjoyed more of? Right? I think people just think of it weird. I think you can think of free time in a different way. Like, you don't have to keep doing what you've always done. Sometimes you'd be like, what do I like doing? Ask yourself that question. And then if you come up with an answer, there you go. That's probably a good, that's probably a good job. Did I zoom that much? Holy crapola, Batman. Wow. No wonder it's so giant. All right, takeover begins. Robots set to outnumber humans at an Amazon warehouse. This is going to happen. There's already a lot of machines that are running around. Grocery stores are already setting themselves up to. I'm going to put it this way. Any place that has unions, and if you're pro-union, that's cool. I'm not. You guys know that. Any place that has unions, guarantee you, that is the places that are going to go automated first. Every place that has unions will be automated first. Period. And there's the reasons for it's the expense. Unions, everyone's like, oh, they do a great thing. They get us some money. No, they just make things super expensive. They cause a lot of inflation. And you basically are pricing yourselves out of a job. Machines are perfect. People aren't. So sometimes there's a balance that needs to be struck. All said, this is where it's going to happen, like it or not. People can hate Amazon, but I honestly think lacking storefronts in the future is going to be the way they're going to go. It's just significantly cheaper to grocery shop this way. I don't like it per se. I like produce specifically. I want to touch it. I want to see it, right? A lot of crap, man, meat too. Like there's a lot of things I buy that I want to choose myself. But like, I don't know, a block of cheese, right? Like, I don't care. Someone can grab that from me. Like, right, there's certain things that I'd be okay with. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Again, the world's changing. I'm along for the ride just like the rest of you. We gotta live through this change and hopefully do okay. Trump tariff boost government revenue and don't hurt consumers. This is what we're finding out. Corporate media is finally having to admit it. These Trump tariff policies aren't jacking everything up like everybody wants to say. Now, what is kind of funny right now is the U.S. Federal Housing and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac chairman, they're calling on Congress to investigate Jerome Powell. So now we've got, I think, two different directions that they're definitely going to investigate Powell. He lied to Congress about expenses, significant money expenses. And that's a fireable offense. They could get him for cause earlier on. Maybe we can get that change a little quicker than we initially thought. Looks like we'll see. It still takes time. And Powell's out, I think, April of next year or something like that. So, I mean, how fast they can help it along. I think ultimately they were planning on picking a new person anyway in October, November, from best we understand from best sense. So we'll see, again, how it all plays out. Dow's doing okay today, the stock market, I should say, is doing okay today. Gold is up. It's at 33.68, so it kind of finally came back from its little dip below 33.50. But it's on its way up. VIX is going down, which means people are feeling a little more confident. That's good. That's, I think that's right. It's backwards. I feel like, anyway. Oil's, it's going up a little. It's not quite to the bad place yet. So from nightmares to sweet dreams, the best and worst performing assets. I just mainly wanted to point out a couple that stand out. Silver and gold did super well. The best was, I think it was, NASDAQ and DAX were the best. And again, they're doing really well, which I still think is a reason why you should get out more now than later. And copper is the other one. Look at where precious metals are in the Hang Seng. But these two are silver, gold, copper. These are huge. These assets are doing very well. These are good assets to be into. Trust me, a lot of stuff's going down. A lot of stuff is staying up and going up. Again, the stock market is going to go as far as it goes. We've got to be able to blame the Fed. I don't know how that plays out, but somehow that's got to play out. We'll see. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. You got a 401k or an IRA? Highly recommend you diversify and get the heck out of Dodge. Go to DRSlikesgold.com. Let my good friends at Goldco help you through this process. You're going to get some cool freebies, this half-ounce Ronald Reagan coin. You're going to get up to 10% free silver. You're going to get the Trump book. You're going to get your gold and silver kit. You get a big smile from me. And then a really white one here on the page. And yeah, you'll be on your way to actually being in one of those assets that's still got some growth baked into it. And again, if the Fed's going to be kicked out, they always said gold would kill the Fed. If the Fed is going to get kicked out, what has to happen for that to happen? They got to be able to be blamed, right? How bad does the problem have to be for us to be able to blame the Fed? You know, if it's a 10% drop, is that bad enough to where the whole population of the planet's going to, or the country are going to be like, we got to get the Fed out of here? Probably not. 20%? Maybe. 30? 40? Probably. Hope it doesn't have to go further than that. That's the concern. Now, how quickly we come back from that, we'll see. I mean, having precious metals protects you. That's the beauty of it. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that stinky system before that stinky system gets out of you. European Commission is, all this commission, I guess, is all under Ursula von der Leyen. And they're going to face a vote of no confidence in the European Parliament. This vote's going to happen on July 10th. It's a big deal because Ursula von der Leyen, they need to break the EU up. This whole thing they've done there is socialist hugely, and I think a lot of the countries there are starting to realize this is not good for us. Germany and France especially, because they're the ones paying for everybody else. And they're dying right now as a country, and they're being forced all this immigration from where? War-torn places that the deep state keeps screwing with. Like, all of this is deep state created problem, and then they're flooding in the typically Euro, largely white populations with immigrants that don't give a crap, don't share the same religions, don't share the same cultures, same values, don't even care to be a part of society, and they're intentionally shoving them in. Why? Because it creates a problem. So people are waking up to it. Stephen Ireland, he apparently targeted J.K. Rowling and endless abuse on here because I oppose the chemical castration of children and the removal of protected spaces for women and girls. He has just been sentenced to 30 years in jail for child rape. Good for her for calling this fucker out. He deserves it. Britain's preparing for civil war, but they're kind of using this whole Russia threat like, but, we should be focused. They're going to come across any second. They're going to come swimming across with their boats, and they're going to shoot missiles. They're coming. Don't kill each other yet. But yeah, there's some problem brewing in Britain. No one would know any regular British person's angry. You'd know if the immigrants are angry, not the Brits. Brits, you won't know until they finally do something crazy and slap a beer bottle on your head or something, and then he's pissed. Shit, I didn't see that coming. Whoa, I thought he was laughing with me. All said, we got big imports ending up in Spain of diesel. Some people seem to think it's maybe coming from Russia in some weird back-end way, which Spain knows. Again, a lot of these countries don't support this ultra boycott against Russia that the deep state's been imposing. Trump's even getting out of it. It's happening, folks. Changes are occurring. Drilling rig capsizes in the Gulf of Suez. It's out there, I guess, close to Cairo, it was part of Egypt. It's in the Red Sea, I believe. And all said, ship was a drill ship, sank, had 31 people on it. I believe 4 are dead for sure. 6 are still missing. Probably not in a good place, but hopefully they got some sort of life vest or something to give them a chance. But yeah, this is a pretty serious thing. Not cool. Here we go. U.S. is confirming the suspension of military aid to Kiev. Basically said, look, our supplies are really low. So we're not going to give you guys any more stuff. So they Patriot missile interceptors? No. Stingers? No. AIM air-to-air missiles, basically? No. Hundreds of Hellfires? No. GMLRSs? No. 155 millimeter mortar round? No. No more. No mas. No mas tequila. And of course, Ukraine's pissed. Hey, we need money. Putin and Macron, they had a little telephone call, a little ringy-dingy. Talked for first time they've talked in 3 years. I don't know how long they talked. But essentially, Russia's like, look, here's the deal. You got to accept the new boundaries. You guys got to stop being dicks, and you got to realize that a big part of what happened is because of what NATO's been doing, and that's got to stop. And so, again, I think Europe's trying to do their own fair shake at sort of doing a peace talk because they want credit for it, or at least want to seem like they're involved. But Trump and Putin are pretty much taking care of this. And again, I think we're just, unfortunately, people are dying on both sides, but I think we're just waiting for Zelensky to concede. And that's what it comes down to. They lost the war. They're losing badly. And Russia right now is, in Sumy, is super close to my understanding to Kiev. So they are this close to being completely overrun by Russia, which would be worse. And likely would result in the capture of Zelensky. And finally, elections. I think they would give elections to the country. I don't think Russia wants to own Ukraine. I think Russia wants to make sure Russians aren't killed in Ukraine. Belarus is providing an update on the deployment of Russian Oreshnik missiles. These are hypersonic, nuclear possible, but certainly the normal explosive on them is pretty big deal. They're medium range, and they're going to be in Belarus, which is right on the border of, or really close to a lot of places, namely Kiev, as well as, I think, Poland, not too far, right? So, yeah, it's like, look, we've got a deterrent here, too. You guys are being dicks, so we're going to be a dick back at you. Which is not cool, having more missiles, but Belarus is 100%. President Lukashenko loves Putin. These guys are buddies. Buddies. Just something to point out. I don't know. This is if you have what do they call it? Eczema. Yeah, there we go. The word's so weird looking the way it's spelled. I had a buddy that had it. If you use this cream, this Topical steroid withdrawal is what happened to this poor lady. What was the actual chemical dose? I'm trying to find it for you guys. If any of you guys have eczema out there. If you've been using this thing for a long time, your body can go through some hardcore withdrawal when you get off it. It's a horrible experience. Typical steroid withdrawal, debilitating condition. This is why you shouldn't use steroids unless you absolutely have to. International Topical Steroid Awareness Network, if you want to learn more about it. I was hoping I could find the name of the product. Oh well. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Finding that 91% of people affected by the condition had used these topical corticosteroids. Yeah, just bad. It screwed up her skin really bad. Yeah, this guy's got, it's just... These poor people. Anyway, yeah, gnarly. California moves forward with higher marijuana excise tax. All they're going to do is make people go just back to doing it secretly. But they had 15% tax, which is pretty high. They just pumped it up to 19%, which I don't think... A lot of people in this state smoke pot, and that's not going to go over well with the pot smoking community, which, yeah, I don't know how many of them actually vote. Too busy sitting at home eating chips, but still, it's happening. Streaming overtakes traditional TV, just kind of a big movement. Very few people have cable anymore. A lot of people are doing it data. I think DirecTV digital kind of falls into this, unfortunately, but sort of does. But yeah, all said, a lot of people are going to just internet type TV. They're trying to push like Amazon, Prime, Netflix, Disney, all that crap. Yeah, whatever. We all do what we do. But yeah, those apps are doing better. But I know like the Disney app's actually gotten significantly worse because they keep sucking. Disney's blowing it everywhere. This was just a funny study. And I don't know. I'm going to give why I think this is true. And again, why I think so many studies are just stupid. But it says, living near a golf course is linked to Parkinson's risk in new study as some cite limitations. Pesticides may be the culprit. Now, here's the thing. If you're living next to a golf course, literally living next to a golf course, you are almost guaranteed over 70 years old. Most people don't live near golf courses when they're younger. It's expensive usually to get those homes, not necessarily easy to do, and a lot of people when they're older want to golf. Again, yes, there's exceptions to the rule. Most people are going to be older. So older people live next to golf courses. Well, older people are way more susceptible of getting Parkinson's than younger people. But the way they state it, living near a golf course is linked to Parkinson's. News at 11. It's just manipulation. People, it's just manipulation. I guess there was a story going around that the hero dad on the Disney cruise, that he apparently had put his daughter up on the railing. Well, they actually looked at the footage and whatnot and proved that no, he did not. Apparently him and the wife were playing shuffleboard and the kid shimmied up like some little thing that you're supposed to not be able to easily crawl up, and did. And then she went over the edge. Maybe the dad saw her right before he went and was like, shit! And then, went into action. Whatever the case was. I'd be scary jumping off the... you just do it. I know you don't think. But he saved her life. It's pretty cool. So anyway, hopefully we can get this big, beautiful bill across the finish line and save our country, because ultimately that's what needs to happen. We need to get all the politicians out there to get behind this. If you guys could, it'd be worth sending an email or something like that to those House members in your area and say, or the House member in your area, be like, dude, you got to pass this. I understand it sucks, but you need to get this across the finish line, and then we can worry about making things better. But this is a big steering of the curve. And this is a step in the right direction, I think, without a doubt. Again, is it 100%? No. And I didn't think it'd ever even be close to 100%. I knew there was going to be a bunch of bullshit in there. That was expected. But we got a bunch of the right stuff in there. That's the good part. We need to do that. We need to run with this. And we need to get them to vote it in. Let's hope that happens today. I love you guys. I'll be seeing a bunch of you guys here in a couple days. I look forward to it. I look forward to being out in Houston. If not, check out the live show I do, because I'm probably going to be a little off air otherwise for about 3 days. But I will be live doing my music show on Friday, so I hope you guys join. It's going to be a 2-hour show. Got some really, really good music, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Try to get the audience involved. Try to give the raffle stuff away maybe on camera. I don't want the breaks to be too long, but that's kind of what I'm thinking we'll do, is try to do some of that stuff in live if we can. So we'll see how that plays out, because, again, I got my laptop, and that's going to be my camera. I didn't want to bring cameras. That's just too much risk for the possible gain. So we'll make it work, long story short. But I love you guys. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.